Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. And yes, it is a little bit early today. In fact, it's dark outside where I am. Been up most of the night trying to parse together a bunch of the information going on out there. There's a trickle of info coming out. FBI, of course, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel made their ceremonial visit to Utah yesterday. I guess they were going to up the ante as far as the investigation goes. But what I wanted to do is show you before the day gets going too much, because new information will likely come trickling out, what we kind of know so far. And I don't want to necessarily say chronological order of events, because I don't have timestamps or anything like that, but at least the order of events. And I want us to start familiarizing ourselves with the terrain, with the area in question, because like most campuses, there's some contemporary looking buildings and stuff like that. So sometimes it can be a bit hard to get your bearings straight. So my goal here today is to do a little bit of that. Also want to raise one major question at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that, because it is definitely one that we've probably all been asking ourselves, but not really sat back and going, this is a valid question. So stay tuned for that. Let me get right into it. So just to give you a two-dimensional layout of the area, you'll see the courtyard there in essentially the green triangle, and that's the area where Charlie Kirk was stationed whenever he was shot. You'll see in the black area up there, the Low C Center, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I may not be. That's where the shooter took his shot. You'll see the little circle down at the very bottom of that, giving him a clear shot across that entire courtyard area to Charlie Kirk. Now, this next video I'm going to show you, as you can see, it's got the big TMZ timestamp over it, but this is the alleged shooter. People are saying him limping. That's a perfect way to describe how he's walking, but he's not limping because of an injury. Obviously, if this is in fact him, notice the right leg never bends like the left leg does. That's because it appears that the rifle, the Mauser that he got, is shoved down his pants leg of that right leg. Again, the right knee never fully bends like the left knee does. And you can see his backpack as well, along with the hat that we've seen him in too. So pretty interesting that he was able to pull this off like that. And of course, this is a rifle that he allegedly had shoved down those very pants, allowing him to not walk perfectly. It really perplexes me. I'm not saying you would stop somebody if you saw them limping, but it pretty eye-opening to me that this dude is literally concealing a full-size rifle, walking down literally in the street in broad daylight, and it doesn't raise any suspicion. Again, everyone has the right to limp down the middle of the road if they want to, as long as they're not obstructing traffic or anything like that. Just again, it's just very, very weird that this is how this went down. Not exactly as covert as a quote expert would be, and I use that word loosely because everybody's tossing that around. Not saying this isn't an expert hit. I'm saying some of the factors in this are just really sloppy if these are true professionals trying to pull this off. And again, maybe purposely sloppy in some ways, if you know what I mean. Now, looking at this particular drawing, it's more of a three-dimensional representation, an actual shot of the area. Of course, you see down here in the courtyard area where Charlie Kirk was. And again, up here at the Low C Center, that's where the shooter was. Now, I'm going to show video in a second where he escaped. And it's on this back corner of this building right here. So pay particular attention to that. That's going to be the back side. You'll notice this entire length of this roof that he ran across to get to this back corner to make his escape. Of course, this is his line of sight shot. You see the building in front of him that just was to his right, but still allowed him to get a clean shot. That's why he was a little bit further to the left on this rooftop. And of course, you see where he was positioned down there in the prone position. They've marked where apparently his knees, elbows, and everything was, and to be able to pull that shot off in that prone position. Now, this next video is the video of him actually escaping. This is him running from that shooting position across the building and then scaling down it. I've heard people say, oh, the building was 4 stories tall. Well, it had different tiers to it. But as you can see, it's about a 20-foot drop right here. And he seems to pull that off fairly well. Then he runs off, and that's where he's supposed to have gone off into the wooded area, which there's neighboring places and homes and stuff back there also. So that's where he's essentially made his getaway. Now, of course, one of the other videos from TMZ is after the shooting, there is what appears to be some guy running off in the distance, not necessarily down the middle of the road as he came to the shooting, but this is supposed to be him leaving the site, running through what may appear to be backyards. Now, for that question, that's going to raise some eyebrows. Remember a couple of days ago, I put a video out, and several other people did too, about the leaked document from the ATF from Steven Crowder. In that document, it stated ATF and other law enforcement located an older model imported Mauser 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel in a wooded area near the campus. Now, it's safe to assume that that wooded area was the area that he ran across the street once he exited that building, edge of that building, and took off running, right? We can safely assume that. Let's look back at the escape video from the rooftop that he dropped down 20 feet. Remember earlier when he was limping with his rifle because it was shoved in his pants? Remember, he also had the backpack on. The backpack, I'm assuming, was not big enough, obviously I'm being facetious here, to conceal the entire rifle. That's why he stuck it down his pants. Here he's running across the top of the building. Running, not limping. Do you see the rifle? We know it's not in his backpack because the backpack wouldn't conceal it before. In fact, he throws the backpack down separately. We know that it's not in his pants leg like it was the way he got here. So where's the rifle? Oh, are you thinking maybe he left it on the roof? No. What was the ATF thing where they said they found it in a wooded area wrapped in a towel? Now again, this is allegedly the rifle that they found. Not wrapped in a towel, in a box like it would come from a store. So am I looking at a picture here of what could be a rifle like the one he had, or is this the actual one? But the bigger question is, if they found a rifle in the woods and they found, remember they said that it had trans stuff written on the casing and ideological type stuff, led them to believe that this was in fact the shooter's firearm, shooter's rifle. Did he throw it from the rooftop all the way into the woods? Again, I'm being facetious. Where's the rifle? How did the rifle get in the woods? I think that's a valid question. Obviously, it was not brought into the woods by the shooter. The shooter is shown exiting the rooftop immediately after taking that one shot at Charlie Kirk. So we know he didn't have time to leave, dispose of the rifle, and come back and then make his escape. Where's the rifle? Where's the right rifle? Or who put that rifle in the woods if that is in fact the rifle that Charlie Kirk was shot with? Who put the rifle in the woods per the ATF? Guys, if you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel. A lot of new viewers on here, and I appreciate you guys coming on board. I'm going to be covering as much of this as I can because there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I encourage everyone out there to keep your eyes on the internet, watch the news as it comes out. When it comes out, screenshot your stuff because this stuff is likely to start to disappear, because as people don't want this information out there, you're going to see some of the stuff that pops up go away pretty quick. So I encourage everyone, when you see something pop up that looks a little bit maybe eye-opening, hard to believe, screenshot it, keep it, share it with friends. Make sure it stays alive because this information can go away really fast. Remember during the Butler shooting in Pennsylvania, the assassination attempt at Donald Trump, a lot of stuff disappeared real quick. Video, expert video where the people were interviewed and said things that were kind of damning. All of a sudden you can't find that video anymore. So keep an eye on a lot of this stuff here, and hold it close, because this may be the way that we answer questions that we're not getting answers for from the people who should be telling us these things. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.